Well, hi there. I'm Michael Hausam. Thank you for taking a look at my live today. So if you are considering buying your next house, this is specifically for you because I don't want you to make the two mistakes that I see being made all of the time. These two mistakes are potentially catastrophic and will absolutely crush your dreams. So I'm going to explain what they are, why people do them, and then what to do instead. I'm also going to include another warning about a risk that most people don't even think about or are even aware of. So you're going to want to pay attention to that too. It is a huge potential landmine. So my name is Michael Hausam, and I'm an active real estate broker in Southern California. I first got into the business and the mortgage side over 35 years ago. And then I added the real estate license a decade later. So this was back when I was still getting haircuts every 3 weeks. But what I'm doing here is very different. This has nothing to do with pitching to be anybody's agent or broker, but to provide independent help and guidance to homebuyers across the country who want to control their own real estate journey. And this is totally separate from the pressure to buy or sell a house or to earn a commission. So these are the two things that I see all the time with folks who are thinking about moving to their next home. And frankly, they break my heart because neither of them needs to happen. The first one is people that are just simply stuck and unable to figure out the right next step. And the second is people whose first step is to just go out and start visiting open houses. Both of them are not good. So let's talk about let's first talk about the people that are stuck. So right now I'm working with a family. These guys have been stuck for almost 2 years. They've known they needed to upsize their home, but they haven't been sure about what to do next. And the major issue for them is to figure out what to do with their current house and how that fits into the plan. Do they sell it or do they keep it? And if they decide to sell it, should they sell it first and then buy a home? Or do they buy the house and then they sell the current one? Or maybe they keep it and they rent it out. Lots of moving parts here. And every single one of these options has a lot of super big implications. Trying to figure out the wisest way to go about things from the home selling angle or from the home buying angle, all of these things. And then what are the costs associated with either of those choices? What are the pros and cons for each choice? Plus, then if they do decide to keep it, there's even more considerations, being a landlord, tax considerations, if they need to get money out of the house to make the next purchase, what do they do? So this is a big fog of options. And all of these potentials have each created their own uncertainty. So they're basically sitting there, bursting at the seams, increasingly unhappy, and are now worried about prices are continuing to go up and affordability. It is just brutal. And this is not an uncommon occurrence. You, in fact, may be even dealing with some of those same issues yourself. Too many options, not sure how to prioritize them, so that then just everything stays stuck in neutral and nothing gets done. Now, the second thing I see is folks going from somewhere in that position there to taking the next step and just going out and looking at open houses and then just kind of seeing what's out there. I actually met with a couple this very week, and that is exactly what they're doing. They're going to open houses, they're going to new builder model homes, a wide variety of locations and price ranges, and they're also getting frustrated and disappointment. It is not a great plan either. It's kind of like, I was saying this to them, it's like just driving through an auto mall to find some cars. But what kind of car? What make of car? How much to spend? We're just kind of looking. But looking at what? That's not a solution. And frankly, at this point, this is where another problem enters into the chat. And this is something that most people never even think about. And that is about the real estate industry itself. So here's a news flash. The real estate industry is not your friend. And this is what I mean by that. The incentives and the focus for the real estate industry as a whole is just to get signatures on a contract, your signature, and then to collect a commission, and hopefully collect out a commission as soon as possible. So all of the massive mergers that have happened over the last few years, including the brokerage where I hang my license, and then there's been all of these lawsuits over commissions, billions of dollars of settlements and payments, and then billions of dollars a year that is all spent on advertising. None of this stuff is about focusing on helping people like you get the optimal results that you need and want. It's about customer acquisition and commission dollars. That's it. And then on top of that, you also have to layer in the additional fact that most people don't know as well. Most real estate agents are effectively part-timers. Now, it depends on the survey that you look at. Somewhere between 1/3 to 1/2 of all real estate agents have only done one transaction in the prior 12 months. And then the next 20 to 30% after that have done 5 or fewer in the previous 12 months. That's less than one sale every other month. Part-timers, right? Most people go about hiring their realtor just based on who they know over the course of their lives or who they're related to or something like that. They're not hiring them based on optimal strategies or tactics or performance. It's a very funny thing about real estate. People will carefully study and prepare to buy the right car or the right dishwasher or the right toothpaste. But when it comes to what is likely to be the largest single transaction of their lives, very little background or preparation work is done. Somebody in the mom's group, their cousin just got their real estate license. Perfect. They can help me. If you were getting a surgery, would you ever hire a doctor based on that? Oh, you just passed your medical boards? Perfect. My shoulder hurts. Dig in. So hiring somebody inexperienced or that doesn't know what they're doing is such a big risk. But frankly, it's not just the inexperienced part that's a big risk. There's actually a big risk on the entire other side of the spectrum. And let me tell you a quick story. A few weeks ago, some clients and I toured a house. In fact, let me print it out. I printed this out here. Let me read you the details. So this right here, this is a printout. It's a listing in Costa Mesa. They'd lowered the price $100,000 and it's at 1.3. Exceptionally upgraded 4-bedroom, 3-bath home, boasting beautiful curb appeal with the lush lawn, flowering gardens, etc. Turnkey open concept home, beautifully remodeled kitchen, inviting living room, upgraded with newer vanities, fixtures, lighting, tile surrounds, glass enclosures, flooring. The entire home has been stylish, defined outdoor entertaining space, and an incredible opportunity to own a turnkey home. This sounds amazing. But when we got there, this house was a complete mess. It was disgusting adjacent. The furniture was totally different than was in the pictures. The upgrades were 15 years old, super tired. Furthermore, it was an active substance abuse recovery home. Now, of course, facilities like this are super important given the world we live in, but a heads up would have been nice. Text from the agent. Hey, this is an active business location that's being used as a recovery home. But this house was such a dump and the vibe was so bad. But here's the essential point. The listing agent on this home Top 10 agent in Orange County by total sales volume. There are literally only a handful of agents across the country that sell more houses. I actually printed out their marketing brochure. Number one realtor in this particular city. I don't want you to figure out how it is. For the last 24 years. Number one resale agent in Orange County for the last 5 years. $2.7 billion in lifetime sales. $275 million closed last year alone. Impressive. But think about the seller of this house for just a second. I'm sure they have no idea what a disaster their listing is. They hired one of the top selling agents in the country, but it's probably going to cost them 15 to 20% of the value of their home because of the way that home has been brought to market. This guy trusted his home sale to a top expert, and the way they're handling it is going to cost them $150,000 to maybe $250,000. My clients couldn't wait to get out of the house. He's off somewhere totally confident. He hired an expert and has no idea of the money that's just hemorrhaging all over the marketplace. And these things right here, this is why I have come to the firm conclusion that before somebody hires a realtor or even begins their real estate journey, they need to know exactly how to control the process themselves from start to finish. There is way too much money on the line, and it is too important of a journey just to blindly delegate those decisions and those steps. So what is the next step? Whether you're stuck, like the first family I mentioned, or you're just starting out, or you just have an idea of knowing what you want to do, or maybe you're out looking at houses and you're kind of overwhelmed with all of that. You need to have a plan. You need to have a blueprint, or you need to have a map that shows every single step of this journey. And frankly, I like the blueprint or the map analogies. They're kind of perfect, especially the blueprint being real estate. You would never just start building a house out of the blue, nor would you ever just hop in the car and start driving. You would need to have a blueprint first, or you need to have a map that shows you exactly how you're going to get to your destination. In fact, let me pull this out of my bag and show you this. So this right here, this is the blueprint. This is the map that I use for my business. This is what I use for my students in my House Advantage program as well. And let me just briefly explain this to you. These milestones right along here, these diamonds, these explain in detail the what and the how of everything that must be done to get you from where you are right now to your goal destination, all the way down here. And it's at the end of this step here where you get your new keys, okay? But you're starting up here. And all of these steps and everything you have to do is included. And I don't know if you can read the detail here, but actually going to look at houses isn't here until the middle point. You don't do that at first, okay? And then the next step, after you figure out what and how you're going to do it, then you need to place it onto a timeline, your own personal timeline that's right for you, given everything that's going on in your life, work, money, family, vacations, job, all of that, and then map out all of the what and the how onto your own personal when. Now, the when part, that is important of a topic just in of itself. That's going to be next week's live program. And this is what you need to do. You need to develop something like this so that you can figure out what all of your options are. That's way back here at the very beginning before you start going any further. So at this point, there's basically two options for you. First option for you is to just take this general idea that I've told you here and to try to figure it out on your own, right? Keep watching YouTube videos, scroll through the listing, ask your friends for advice, hope that whatever agent you end up hire, hope they catch everything, and then just figure it out as you go. This is what most people do, and sometimes it works. Frankly, buying a house is not rocket science. You can actually go out and buy a house today. The question is, at what cost? What costly mistakes were made that you didn't even know about? What opportunities presented themselves that you didn't even know what to look for and how to take advantage of those? That is the real question about buying a house. And so for that, there's a second option. And that option is that we go through this together. That I help you create a plan like this to help you think through your timing, your decisions, everything you need to know and do right from the beginning. And then after creating that, to then guide you on the remainder of your journey. And having a guide for you that's more focused, that's not focused. Oop, my stream just died. Uh-oh. My browser just crashed. No, I think we're up. Hold on a quick second here. There was a message that came up. Sorry about that. Okay. And having a guide throughout the remainder of your journey. And not having a guide that's focused on making a sale right now or a commission right now or getting a signed contract right now. Having a guide that's focused on you and what you need and want. So if that would seem to be, this second option, if that would seem to be a better alternative for you, the next step is for you to take my free real estate readiness assessment. It's a tool that I have developed to let you know in a very brief period of time. It's free. There's no cost to it, first of all. Secondly, it only takes about 4 minutes to do. And not only will it let you know how ready you are for today's marketplace, it has 4 different main categories that tells you where you're strong and the areas that you could use improvement. And then from there, we can figure out how best for me to help you. This thing takes just a couple of minutes. So when you're done with that, then you'll have a perfect indication of how ready you are to face the real estate market. And then the option after that is to get in touch with me for further discussion. I appreciate you watching. There's a link in the description below on Facebook and YouTube. I'm also going to put it in the comment. Should be one sitting here right in the comments as well. So I'll make sure to include that. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend and happy Father's Day.